Hey, welcome to the Life After Work channel. I'm getting real excited now. I'm pretty close to getting my work tables sorted out, and my expansion and my display cabinets. But I wanted to go ahead and jump into one subject that is near and dear to, I think, many of us, and it's about trains. A particular train in this case. It's about the Bumble Bee. I may or may not have mentioned it previously, but I'm kind of partial to the Bumble Bee. The coloring, I mean, hey, when you're black and yellow, you got to be cool, right? So at any rate, let me jump in here. I've already videoed some other stuff. I'll just plug that in right here. That's it. So what is that? Well, as you know, if you've watched my scale presentation video, there are numerous G scales that run on the same track. I doubt this is, I know this isn't a 20.3, which is my favorite scale, the only correct scale for the track that it's on. I doubt it's a 22.5 because Bachmann didn't do any 22.5 at the time that I bought this. I'm hoping it's like a 1 to 24. Doesn't really matter. The fact is, and I'm going to try to show you this, this particular video here comes from the Bachmann site. That is a 1 to 20.32. It is highly detailed, has everything on it you'd want. Now, truth is, I spent $30 for this on eBay 10 years ago. The one I just showed you, that's the current Bachmann 20.32, cost $1,700. Well, I'm not going to spend that much right now. I'm on a fixed income. I'm not going to do it without saving for several years. The truth is, this one will serve the purpose, but I've got to do a lot of stuff to it. Now, if I do everything I want to do to it, how much am I going to put into it? Well, listen, guys, you can get a pretty good deal with this, and I'll show you how. So, what's this? Well, it's basically what most of us would consider a box. I got this in the mail today. It's from Bachmann. I found out that I was able to buy for this 460 and its tender, and I'm unboxing it as we are sitting here looking, that I could find all of the upgrades to bring this up to a modern G scale, and like I said, at least a 1 to 24 proportional scale locomotive. So now let's take a quick look at some of the details. Okay, first of all of this running gear down here is plastic. It's the real cheap stuff. It's not very stable. But the fact is, it runs good for a 460. It's a great locomotive if you want to have a garden locomotive. I'm trying to upgrade this. So I don't want plastic. I want metal, much like the anniversary edition of the Annie. Up here you will see this is actually this piece of equipment on these old locomotives is an air compressor for running brakes and everything else. And it is plumbed up normally with, let me zoom in just so you can see a bit more of it. It's usually plumbed in all around it with valves, piping. This whole side of the locomotive is filled with piping. There's stuff under here. And none of it's here because, hey, what did I say I paid for this? Next to nothing, and that was for the tender and the locomotive. Well, I told you I have solved part of that problem. So in the future, you're going to see not only what's in this box, but what I'm going to do with it. So what do we have here? Two packages. The first one, I'm going to open this first because this is the one that really is going to be the deal breaker. And let me open a bit more of it. And there we have it. Move that aside, turn this around. So what do you think? This is the anniversary edition chassis, the full chassis. All of the metal running gear, new motors, plus all of the wiring. It's pre-wired for both sound and DCC. This locomotive is, like I said, I bought it used 10 years ago for next to nothing. How much did this cost? $55. So you put both of these together, I am way below right now the $100 mark as opposed to $1,700. It's got all the connections plus instructions. I have everything I need to know to convert this locomotive to the latest and greatest Bachmann 460. That's step one. Now I'm going to do a video installing this. It's not coming right away. I'm going to start I'm trying to get involved in my network and in my channel enough that I can work on the New Jersey, put out a video, and in the same week put out a second video on working on this locomotive. Once I get all of this installed over here, and I'll go through the entire process, all the things I'm learning on how to upgrade and how to do different things. I'll do those videos, and ultimately I will come back to this chassis and I will install sound because it's already ready for sound, and I'll install DCC. Now, how else can it possibly be ready for sound? Well, as most of you know, at least on the large scales, the sound comes in not from here, but from the tender. The tenders have speakers and the controllable cards, all that stuff. So how am I going to do that with this? Oh, did you notice the white thing in the back? There we have it. Let me see, I've got maybe one more piece to pull off of here. I'll open it up, then put it in front of the camera. Maybe I'll open it up, then put it in front of the camera. I'm thinking maybe I should just push this back so you can kind of see where we're headed with that. And I will unwrap this. And there we have it. This, get it oriented right, this is the entire chassis for the tender that is back here. And maybe I'll just put them side by side like we did the other. So there we go. By putting these two pieces on these two models, then I'm going to have, for well under $100, a very expensive Bumble Bee 460. Now this particular model in the G scale, which like I said, I think it's the 1 to 24. I hope that's right. If anybody knows any different, please let me know. It could be the 1 to 29, but this is very common. I will put all these pieces together. I will put a sound card in it, and that's only from the chassis down. From the chassis up, that's a whole different story. And trust me, there is so much more detailing to do on this locomotive, and there are so many aftermarket places who are doing bits and pieces of this. For instance, this compressor, on some versions of this Bumble Bee, there are 2 of them, probably a later version, and they're fully plumbed, valves, piping, everything. Well, I can get valves and piping to scale from a number of companies, and I think I mentioned them on my my scale presentation video. So this will be a project along with the New Jersey, and this is one that I'm really excited about. By the way, $55. This one was like another $30. I forget what it is. You can go on the internet and find. Both of them together. Well, let's get it right now so you can know. The tender chassis was $60. $60 for this. This one was only $55. So I get all of this upgraded for just over $100 added to what I've already got. And remember, the full scale model that I can't really afford is $1,700, and this version and an updated with all of this is, I think, almost $600. So I am way under right now, and everything will be brand new. So you'll go through with me the process of how you can convert one of these old locos for part of the money and get it the way you want it. Literally get what you want in the end. So that's my future. That's going to be the next video. I've got to go cut the top for this piece right here. That's this tabletop right now. It's sitting over behind us. When I get that top cut, I can do the oak edging, I can build my display cases, I can get back on the Battleship New Jersey and throw in the videos on this. It's going to be a busy few months right up to Christmas, and I hope I can hang in there. Health-wise, it's been a challenge, but I think I can do this. It's going to be fun, but if you just look right now, just look at that profile, as opposed to that profile. It's going to be fun.